Sometimes you just have bad luck with a certain situation. Whether you're a sports franchise that just can't seem to get out of your own way, whether you're a player that seemed to be plagued by injuries, or in this case, when you're a wrestling company and you create a title which you think is going to help propel a division in your company, but instead, in a way, it's left it stagnant or it's set it back even further than where it was before. And yes, I am talking about the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships that since the titles were created and held by Sasha Banks and Bayley back in the title's inception on February 17, 2019 during the Elimination Chamber, those titles have felt absolutely irrelevant for the better part of 4 years and have once again been vacated due to the injury to Liv Morgan on a tag team title match against Damage Control, and the Women's Tag Team Championships to continue to be one of the biggest farces in wrestling. And in some ways, it's not even the women's division's fault. What's going on, everybody? NYG Jeffy T85 here. And yes, I'm talking about the women's tag team titles and how I feel this is a curse to this women's division. And it seems like whomever holds those titles either gets held back, injury strikes them, or it doesn't help them going forward. Case in point, Liv Morgan suffered an injury during that tag team title match against Damage Control a couple of weeks ago on Smackdown. And now those titles have been officially been vacated. And we are going to be having ourselves a fatal 4-way match on May 29th on Monday Night Raw between Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler, Raquel Rodriguez and a partner of her choosing, most likely going to be Shotzi Blackheart. You're going to have Io Sky and Bayley also against Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville to find out who will be the next women's tag team champions. And in a way, do you really want those tag team titles? Do you really want those tag team championships at this point? I mean, you look at the people that have held this belt overall in the past few years. Obviously, Bayley and Sasha were the first ones to win the championship. Do you want to know how long they held those belts for? Not even 2 months. As they lost the championships to Billie Kay and Peyton Royce of the Iconics. Of the Iconics at WrestleMania 35 in New Jersey. And then they held the belts until Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross won the championships at SummerSlam on Monday Night Raw. That title run did nothing. Then you actually had something going a little bit when you gave the title to the Kabuki Warriors, who were arguably two of the best people to hold those championships. Asuka and Kairi Sane, who won the championships at Hell in the Cell back in October 6, 2019. They held the championships up until March 25th, WrestleMania Part 1, when they lost the belts back to Bliss and Cross at WrestleMania March 25th. Then about 2 months later, Bayley and Sasha on SmackDown in 2020 during the COVID arena years, they won the championships back from Bliss and Cross on a SmackDown episode, and they ended up holding those championships until Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler held the championship or won the championships on August 30th, 2020. So Bayley and Sasha had those belts for at least about 3 months until they dropped the belts to Nia Jax of all people and Shayna Baszler. And then those two held the championships for about a few months until they dropped it to Charlotte and Asuka in December 20th, 2020 in TLC to Asuka and Charlotte Flair. Then Jax and Baszler won the titles back about a month later at the Royal Rumble kickoff show. And they held the championships up until Natalya and Tamina won them on SmackDown on May 14, 2021. And then Natalya and Tamina held those tag titles literally all the way up until September 20th on a Monday Night Raw episode where Nikki ASH and Rhea Ripley won those championships on September 20th, 2021. And then 2 months later, here's the 12th reign overall, Carmella and Queen Zelina won the championships. I mean, we're talking about some stellar teams here, and I really quote saying stellar here. They won the championships on November 20th, 22nd, 2021 until Naomi and Sasha Banks won the championships at WrestleMania 38 Night 2 And then those two held the championships until they literally vacated the titles. And we all know what happened with Naomi and Sasha Banks. Both of them ended up leaving the company and vacating the titles on May 20th, 2022, where eventually Aaliyah and Raquel Rodriguez defeated Damage Control, Io Sky and Dakota Kai on August 29, 2022 on Raw to become the 14th ever Women's Tag Team Champions. And then literally a couple of weeks later, Damage Control, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai won those championships on Monday Night Raw, becoming the 15th ever Women's Tag Team Champions. Then Bliss and Asuka won the tag team titles back on October 31st, 2022 on Monday Night Raw. Then Damage Control literally a couple of weeks later at Crown Jewel won the championships back on November 5th overall. Then Becky Lynch and Lita, I still don't understand why they did this. They won the championships on February 27th, 2023 on Monday Night Raw. And then Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez won the championships due to Trish Stratus and what she did afterwards. After Trish Stratus took out Lita the night before and took over for Lita in the Women's Tag Team Championship match. And she ended up taking the pinfall in the loss to Raquel and Liv. And Raquel and Liv have held the titles up until May 19th when they had to vacate the championships due to the injury to Liv Morgan. And now we are where we are right now. We're setting up a Fatal 4-Way Women's Tag Team Championship match on Monday Night Raw on May 29th, like I mentioned, between Raquel Rodriguez, her partner of her choice, most likely going to be Shotzi, against Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler, against Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green, and also against Io Sky and Bayley to crown the 20th ever Women's Tag Team Championships. I mean, are we serious here? The longest reigning tag team champions for the women has been 215 days. And that was Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler when they had their 2 reigns. These titles have become an absolute joke. And now you have 2 sets of women's tag team titles on the main roster since Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, who are the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. They got called up to the main roster, and they're holding those Women's Tag Team Championships right now on Monday Night Raw, SmackDown. These titles are so irrelevant. They're so terrible. And whoever has held those championships have set themselves back, or they've had an unfortunate injury history due to those championships. In my opinion, and many people have said this before too, those women's tag team championships, the best thing for them is to be abolished, get them the hell sent out of this company, and get yourself an Intercontinental or some type of mid-card championship for the women to make that women's division feel a little bit more relevant than it does now, because right now, those women's tag team titles are hurting your division more than it is you're helping your division. No, anybody that has held those tag team women's championships have not helped themselves at all. At all. I mean, Raquel Rodriguez should be one of the most dominant women in that women's division right now. She's held those tag team titles twice. One with Aaliyah, who, let's just be real, you might like Aaliyah. She's not cut out to be a champion right now. She's just not good enough in the ring. And then Liv Morgan, I like Liv Morgan a lot. She gets hurt, and Raquel Rodriguez, once again, is in literally the land of nowhere. I mean, it didn't help the Kabuki Warriors at all. I mean, it was so bad that Kairi Sane had to leave the company. I mean, Nia Jax was a women's championship with a Baszler. Damage Control. As much as I like everybody in that group, they were irrelevant. I don't like the Iconics at all. Bliss has been irrelevant. Nikki ASH, when she was Nikki ASH, has been irrelevant. Charlotte Flair as a tag team champion. These titles suck. They suck. Nobody is getting over with these championships. Nobody. The best thing that WWE can do is get rid of these titles. But you know they're never going to do that, because it's going to make it look like that you're setting the women's division back. No, these titles are setting the women's division back. Who on this list that has won the women's tag team championships besides the Kabuki Warriors in a way And Sasha and Bayley have gotten over with those championships. I'll wait. Because everybody that has held those women's championships have been set back due to injury or irrelevant booking. You get rid of those titles and you give these women a mid-card title to make it feel like these women have something more important to fight for when the women's Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships are being taken care of in top feuds. You have some of the mid-card women like a Dakota Kai, like an Io Sky, like a Candice LeRae, like a Zoe Stark, like a Indy Hartwell, like a Tegan Knox, like a Mia Yim, like a Shotzi Blackheart, Raquel Rodriguez, like all these mid-card women, Nikki Cross. You give all these women in the mid-card something to fight for, and then at least it gets them elevated to get ready to the next level in the women's division. And you could get to that point of being like a Sasha, or like being like a Bayley, or a Charlotte, or a Rhea, or a Bianca Belair, or a Bayley. It'd just be more helpful to the women's division rather than tag team championships that, let's just be honest, have not felt relevant since 2019 and 2020. And every time somebody wins those tag team championships, it just seems like the pit is opening up, and it just seems things get worse for those women going forward. I hate saying that. This women's division needs something to give this division a jolt of energy. And if you add yourselves a mid-card women's title, it's going to make some of these women that are right now floating around in irrelevancy something to fight for, and it's going to build them up, much like the Intercontinental and the United States Championship do for the men. You give these women an Intercontinental type championship or a United States type championship to help build up these women that are right now needing some type of push and something to do to build them up and give them some type of relevancy. Many other podcasters have said this before in the wrestling community, and it's agreeable. It's true. The women's tag team titles are not helping this division. You need to get something better in this women's division, and a mid-card title is exactly what the doctor ordered to help get these women over. Plain and simple. Do I think the WWE will do it? Not hedging my bets on it. Do I think it's the best thing for the WWE going forward? You're damn right it is. Because these women's tag team titles are not helping your division. In fact, it's setting your division back. And why do we have two sets of women's tag team titles when we don't even have enough women's tag teams? Fuse the damn belts already. I mean, in one case, why is Isla Dawn and Alba Fire not included in this women's tag team title match? Take those NXT women's tag team titles, fuse them together with the women's tag team titles if you need to, and get one set of tag team titles and float those titles around 3 brands. You don't need 2 sets of women's tag team titles if you don't have enough women's tag teams. But in my way, I'd like to see a mid-card women's championship, and like myself and others have said, burn those women's tag team championships, get rid of them, and get a mid-card women's tag team, get a women's title in that picture, and build up some of these other women in this division already. I, like many others, am tired of the same women on top of the card. Build up a Candice LeRae. Build up an Indy Hartwell. Build up a Nikki Cross. Build up Tegan Knox. Build up a Shotzi Blackheart. A Zoe Stark. Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. Dakota Kai. Io Sky. Look how many good women you have on this roster. Utilize them. Get a mid-card title and build these women up so you can have easily one of the best women's divisions in this entire wrestling universe. But what do I know? I'm just some dude yelling about wrestling. But you want to help out your women's division? Scrap the women's tag team titles that have been nothing, honestly, than a curse to this women's division and get yourself a mid-card championship. Many other people have said that. JD from New York, agree with him. Solomonster, agree with him. BC Amplified, agree with him. DJ Storms, agree with them. Some of the most knowledgeable wrestling people in this industry have said that, and I agree. These women's tag team titles are not helping your brand. Get rid of them and get yourself a mid-card women's championship and build up some of these women on this roster that is going to make your women's division stronger and is badly in need of some type of jolt of energy in this women's division. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this point about the women's tag team championships and how they literally have been a curse in WWE and why a mid-card women's championship could do the doctor's orders for this women's division that is right now looking like a robot that's malfunctioning. Hit that like button if you haven't already and give a sub to NYGJeffyT85. News updates and chatters around the WWE. Turn on the bell for notifications on the next video or short dropping on the channel surrounding the WWE. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, don't be afraid to hit a super thanks at the bottom. Shows your appreciation and love for the content creator. And always, guys, thank you for the support you give my channel and all the affiliates that I'm associated with. Hardcore Sports Network, All-Star Sports Network, Let's Talk Sports, as well as the Big Blue Crew. Thank you guys always for the support. And always, thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Take it easy, and let's see what the WWE is cooking for us. Monday Night Raw this Monday, Tuesday on SmackDown, Friday on Tuesday on NXT, Friday on SmackDown, and of course, Night of Champions. That's going to be happening next on this upcoming Saturday in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, on May 27th, 2023, on WWE Peacock.